Hello and welcome back. My name's Annie and this is my creative detour. Today we're going on with the July Junk Journal Challenge hosted by Lee from Lee's Art and Junk Journal Wonderland, and I'll link her channel below for you to get all the information about joining the challenge. It's been so much fun doing it, and it's been wonderful getting to know a few new creatives that I'd never known about before. So as usual, I'm doubling up my prompts. For this challenge, I've been doing 2 prompts per page. And today's prompts are lace and worn. So I think lace was last Friday's prompt. Worn is Monday's prompt. So I'm putting them together and creating something that is worn with lace on it. And I have no idea what I'm going to do. So let's turn to where we're up to in my journal. The only thing that I have done to prep is I've put some brown paper on the back of my Sagrada Familia page. And our next page is a coffee dyed page. I mean, I could change it out for any page that I want, but I kind of like this one. I like that it's been torn out of a sketchbook and then I've coffee dyed it. So like I said, I have no idea what I'm going to create, but I need to prep some pages first and find some worn paper. Okay, I've been rummaging in my supplies and I've found this lovely book here, a Collins Italian lesson book, and it's in both languages. So I've had a little bit of a flick through it. Look at the lovely aging on this book. And it is, this one is in 1962, I think. It's got some lovely aging, but it's got this lovely worn page here that has been stuck back together with sellotape. And we love that, don't we? So I'm going to pull out some of the pages that are a little more tatty, giving me that worn look. I also found a book on lace. Now, I've got to be honest, I don't use lace very often in my art or my crafts. I don't have very many lace things. But I did find this book on lace making, and it's got some lovely patterns in it and images of lace. And I pulled out 2 pages that have these lovely line patterns on them, and I've coffee dyed them. So we've got those. And I also have found a few postcards. For those of you that have watched before, you would know that my great aunt, who's no longer with us, she used to collect a lot of things. And she used to keep a lot of postcards. And I have this tin here that has a lot of really old postcards in them from all different times. So this one here says, I think it says 1909. This one says 1906. So you can see that they're quite aged and worn, and they're lovely. So I've pulled out some that work with our prompts, and I have a piece here from one that I have used before, and I liked all the writing, so we'll use the writing from this. Unfortunately, I can't read the date mark on it. And then we have this lovely chap here. Isn't he just great? I'm not sure where I'll use him. Here's a postcard and it's got some age spots on it. So that's the resources that I've found. So let's prep the back page and see where we head. Enjoy the video. I'll be back soon. Okay, I'm back and I've done the background and I've actually stuck that postcard that I tore up onto the back here and then put some text on the front of the pocket. But I've got everything stuck down. I've had to stick down some of that really old cellophane tape because it's peeling off, and the paper is so brittle that it just falls apart. So anyway, I've got it on and I'm going to actually put a little bit of gesso onto some of it just to pull it back a little bit. And in this section here and here, you would have seen that I used a little bit of pattern paper or scrapbook paper. And the paper that I used was 49 and Market Vintage Orchard Festive. And you can see that that bit came out of there and this piece came out of the top bit. I just aged it a little bit with the edge of my scissors and made the edges a bit worn. And then I inked in with some vintage photo. So let's put a little bit of gesso on just to pull some of these little bits back. Okay, so we've definitely ticked off the worn prompt, but now I need to put some lace on. I do have these images here of lace sketching patterns, but I also have some cotton lace trim and I'm going to put that on the pocket. So let's glue that on, and that's just going to go on the back of the pocket. So I'm just going to put that on and let it dry. Okay, we'll just leave that for a bit. Okay, so now to decorate the pages, I have cut out some images and they've got some birds on them. I've cut them out of the 49 and Market range again, and it's out of this sheet here. The same collection, it's the Vintage Orchard, and this one's Turning Point, and I just cut out the birds from both sides and I'm going to stick them down on the pages. This one here I'm going to use as a tuck spot. I'm going to stick it down but leave it open for me to be able to tuck a ticket or something into it. We'll keep letting that lace dry, but in the meantime you can see why I put down some of that gesso just to brighten up this top bit for the birds. So let's put those on so I know where they're going. It's looking a very autumnal page, isn't it? But that's okay because it's winter here in Australia. So we're currently eating pumpkin soup and roast veggies and all those warm comfort foods. Not that it's very cold at the moment. I should tell you what the temperature is. I just asked Google what the temperature in Brisbane was today. It's a sunny 21 degrees. For those of you that do Fahrenheit, that's 70 Fahrenheit. So it's a lovely sunny winter's day. So that's a winter's day for us. I know that a lot of you get snow and very cold temperatures, but this is fairly typical for us, a dry, sunny day. But it does start to pick up and get a bit windy from July into August. We'll trim off that lace, glue the pocket down. But before I glue the pocket down, I want to put some marks around all of this that I've put on. So I'm going to do some little scratchy lines. How's everybody enjoying the challenge? I am absolutely loving it. The most difficult part of the challenge for me is having time to do the challenge and do the videos. But I am really enjoying it. I'm just doing some loose lines. I'm not overly thinking about it. There's possibly some better ways of doing it, but I think that if I go fast and not think too much, then it doesn't come out perfect. And for me, I prefer it not to look perfect because it looks a little bit more sketchy. Now, I like to put a few stamps on this. Let's use collect because I have a few things to put on here. So I'm going to put a collect, which will start to make sense. Collect, nice. Okay, I've just stamped collect down there and I've put some of these postage marks on. So the stamp that I was using was the Tidbits from Tim Holtz. Okay, that will do for stamping. Okay, so let's stick that pocket down. You can see that some of the bits where I've done it a little bit rough on the edges and frayed up those edges, I've folded them back. So you can see here where I roughed up all the edge of the page, I folded it back so that it would show that it was a little bit worn. So we have some lace on our pocket. There's our pocket, and I'm loving this postcard here with that handwritten text in it. You can just see this word Sydney poking out there, and the old sellotape looks lovely. Okay, now I have a few things to put on here. We need to put our prompt on. I have a ticket here. It says balance November the 2nd, 1912. Let's go with 1912. And I also have a ice coupon. So I'm going to stick that down here. Okay, I like that. Let's go around that. The shadow on it a little bit. And I have to put our prompts on. So I have stuck lace and worn onto a label. And I'm going to use some of our lace pattern here. We'll just ink up the edges of that. Give it a bit of a scrunch. So let's do a nice little cluster down here. I haven't even looked at what the next prompts are. I probably need to have a look at those, see what's coming up. Do I want some white splatters on here? What do you think? I think some white splatters just on these birds. I have two things to go in our tucks. So I have a transit ticket, and we should punch a hole in this. Let's punch a hole in the transit ticket. And this is for the gentleman who's coming to collect his dog that is on the train. And he also is picking up some ice from the train as well. So we've got a ticket here that we can journal on the back, and I've attached just these little tickets and prices with my tiny attacher, and that can sit in there. And our lovely dog here that's on the train that our gentleman is picking up, this is a photo of him, and the gentleman purchased him for 25 cents, and there's his collection sticker, and it has a stamp on the back, and that's just going to sit in our pocket. So let's put a few white splatters on here first, and then we'll be finished. Okay, I'm going to put this together now. I also down here, the ice was collected on November the 2nd. So I think I'd like to punch a hole in this November so that makes sense. I like the story to continue on. So we'll punch a hole in November. We have our lovely dog here. He's coming all the way from Australia. He's getting picked up by his new owner. We'll slide that in there. Let's put these in our journal and I'll show you the finish page. Okay, so here we go. Here's our spread. We have a combination of prompt 9 that was lace and prompt 10 that was worn. And I started with this really old paper here that was so brittle and it fell apart, and it has all of this sellotape on it that was holding it together. And I also started with some lace patterns, drawn patterns of how to make lace. And then I used a little bit of pattern paper, added in a few wintry sort of colours. And we have this story of this lovely dog here. He cost 25 cents and he's waiting for collection. We've got a collection stamp here for his new owner. So his information is tucked in the pocket, and the pocket has a little piece of lace on it. So I didn't have a lot of lace, like I said. I have this little piece of lace trim, but I've got the patterns about lace in the background, so I'm kind of okay with that. And here's our new owner's ticket. He is in transit and he's coming to collect him. And he's going to get some ice on the way. What a random story. But there we go. Let's have a little close-up of it. I'll show you all the details. We did some gesso and some stamping and some mark making and collaging the background with lots of different papers. There we go. Our journal's coming along, isn't it? All right, thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate you watching the video. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. That'd be great. And I will see you on Wednesday for scribbles or doodles and a window or peek through. Oh, I might need to bring this envelope forward and we might do something with that. But anyway, have a great few days creating, everyone, and I'll see you in a couple of days with my next video. Bye for now.